Well, Jeff Gerstmann, I've got some news for you.
What?
And here we go with the news. Speaking of billion and trillion dollar companies having their way with you, Alex Navarro, what is going on out there? Who has slapped the other person with a white glove this time?
Well, Epic is doing a whole lot of glove slapping, it seems like. So we talked a little bit about this last week on
It
the show.
happened during the last week's show.
It really happened during the show. But
where are we dropping, boys? It's legal loft. Am I right?
Yeah.
Is that the? Can we do this?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah,
Hey.
Woo!
Yeah. So in the week since more has happened. Epic put out a fucking parody ad of the old Apple 1984 ad.
Yes.
They have sued both Apple and Google over removal of of Fortnite from the various app stores. They are fighting mad, looking for a fight over the 30% cut that Apple takes on its various transactions. And whoever wins, we lose, is my opinion on all of this. I mean, look, the thing that they are challenging is a thing that I understand someone challenging. And I think, with all the antitrust stuff going on with Apple right now, like, maybe you couldn't have picked a better time to do this. At the same time,
almost like they deliberately picked this time to do this.
No way.
Weird.
There's no way.
At the same time, I don't know that I could bring myself to wholly side with Epic on this. One, for the just absolutely nakedly obvious way they went about it, and two, for the way that they have tried to weaponize their own user base as a sort of intensifying factor in all of this. And it just, I can't bring myself to cheer anyone involved in this on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Vinny and I spent, I don't know, half hour trying to come up with a good joke of like the absurdity of like showing a bunch of 20-year-olds a commercial they've never seen before.
Yeah.
A reference to a commercial they've never seen before, or even have any understanding of what it's related to. But sure.
So this is ongoing. This is obviously some major players in there. Apple has kind of shot back, right? Apple has pretty much said, we're going to remove support for was it SDKs? I can't remember.
The Unreal Engine and stuff like that. Like basically say you cannot use that to develop for our devices anymore, which would fuck over a whole lot of developers, I suspect.
Yeah. It's almost like there's a whole lot of collateral damage attached to all of this that maybe the people filing these suits and getting in these fucking pissing matches either they thought of it and didn't give a shit, or they didn't think of it, and I'm not sure which is worse.
Well, you think about Apple's position of just like how much money they make off the App Store. Like they are looking at it as like, well, we have to protect this at all costs. This is where we make hundreds of millions of billions. This is where we make a fuckload of money. And so we have to protect that, even if these assholes are coming at us over this stuff. Like, fuck them. So, and that triggered Epic filing another lawsuit to, I think, grant an injunction or some kind of temporary situation where that would not happen, and that the Unreal Engine would not be revoked, and all that other stuff. It's a mess. But if and Epic's thing is not even necessarily here. If I'm reading the lawsuit right, as a non-lawyer. They are more setting up it around the idea of the closed ecosystem. So it's not about the 30% per se. It's about they want the ability to set up their own payment processor and skirt Apple completely. And yet they're not doing this on consoles, which also take 30% and also are running closed systems for reasons where they're like, well, they sell at a loss, and they like a weird kind of semantic argument there about why they are not doing this to Sony and Microsoft, which I found to be even weirder. But as I've said, I think a couple times this week, like Tim Sweeney has been beating this drum in various form forever. Where it would, like, when they added a store to Windows, he was out there going like, "This is going to be the end of everything." And
and now they have an Epic store on that runs on the Windows machine.
And if Microsoft had competently launched a store, maybe he would have been right, but they did not. And so it was a non-factor. I think he was maybe right to be like concerned and all this stuff. I think my part where the thing gets real sleazy is the idea that they, like, Epic triggers all of this, right? They add the hey, you can get V-Bucks for cheaper right here by buying it through us instead of through Apple, knowing that Apple will act this way. So then they have their dumb ad and their lawsuit ready to go. And then at the end of it, they say, Apple's trying to take it away from you.
Yes.
It's like, no, you did this.
What is it?
This was you that did
hashtag free Fortnite, right? That's
hashtag free Fortnite. It's the monopoly. It's like, okay. It's like you're right for the wrong reasons, or you're right in the worst way possible. You're right in a way that makes me just go like, yeah, you guys are.
Yeah, it's that Eric Andre meme.
Have fun over there. Yeah.
Hannibal Buress, and Hannibal Buress is Fortnite, and it's just turning the camera and be like, why would Apple do this?
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. So, that's basically what happened. Sure.
I'm just trying to translate for the younger,
for the youth. Yes.
Yeah.
For the Fortnite crowd.
I think
I already did that.
Where
would it's legal law. Put this in the game and rip me off for my dance moves.
While we're at it. I think the Windows Store is a great example of if they did this on a Windows platform, if Microsoft said the only place that you can buy games, not even Microsoft games, you can buy any games to play on your Windows
any apps
PC,
or anything
is through the Windows Store, it would seem ridiculous, but that is what Apple does, right? And that is but
there's and you know, it would seem ridiculous because Windows machines have been the exact opposite of that forever.
Well, right, because we never had that really. I mean, at least I can't remember that. And then, you know, Apple years ago was like, we are going to have a curated experience. We want to make sure that it's almost Nintendo-like in its seal of approval. We're going to make sure that everything goes on your phone, it's safe and all this stuff. And, you know, that was a long time ago. Things have changed. That store is now a huge moneymaker alongside it having a ton of really questionable stuff on it sometimes. And, you know, it's like you said, like everybody's saying here, on paper, yes, I think this is at the very least a discussion that needs to be had and looked into. And I kind of side with like, yeah, I think maybe the time has come to open up some of this, and maybe you don't need to have to go through Apple for everything on this platform. But the way that it is happening and the way Epic is framing it and the way that they are going about it, again, the hashtag free Fortnite stuff is just, it's too much. I think it's too much. I think other people here kind of agree with that kind of like, all right, chill out. Like, you know, like cool. You've got the money to pay your lawyers. I don't think
file your lawsuit. You don't need to
public
have this,
opinion,
like, dumb public
right?
fight.
Like that, and that's what rubs me the wrong way too. It's like there isn't. This is not a thing where like a public opinion, you know, like the court of public opinion would like have a meaningful impact on what happens here. You know what I mean? Like it just seems like this really incongruent and sort of like disproportional, you know, leveraging of, you know, what your actual customer base is against this very, you know, and it's a very pervasive you know, payment system issue across many different mediums. It's not just games. Like this is a problem happening everywhere.
Right.
Giantbomb.com.
I'm just saying, like, think about how all these websites make money, like the payment systems and an affiliate and like third party intermediary, you know, transactional distributors. Like this is what this fight has been, the internet fight for a very long time. And it's manifesting obviously in these two very large companies, you know, sort of butting heads, but like this is a problem and look, there are definitely very valid points that the Epic lawsuit, or at least the language in that thing makes, where it's like, hey, you give exceptions to Best Buy, you give exceptions to Amazon, you give exceptions to all these other apps. We're you know, we just don't sell we don't sell material physical things, we sell other things. Like, so yeah, you know, look, like Alex said, it is a lose-lose most likely situation for you and I. But, you know, the bigger sort of thing here is like, what could this mean for the future of companies that are not Epic, that don't have 3,000 or however thousand employees that they have, but for like, you know, a team of 3 people, you know, where a 30%, you know, tax is much more of a dent to the bottom line. So, yeah.
Ongoing. I'm sure we'll hear about this more. Epic, very loud, a lot of emails. I feel like they are on a PR.
They are.
Party mode, man.
Yeah.
Well, this is like not that far off from like Epic, turning on crossplay and like whoops, and getting that public opinion on their side in a way that I think did help bring crossplay to more games and more platforms once they said like, oh, we could do it. And Fortnite was in a popular enough position to kind of force the issue in a way that smaller devs couldn't. And so I think that in some cases they have used that size in ways that have benefited gaming. And so I look at this one and go like, yeah, maybe this will have a benefit to developers that will then benefit gaming and, on down the line. But right now it's just well, whatever. We've covered it to death. Like they've gone about it in kind of the worst way. I have completed my investigation, by the way.
Okay. Oh, what is the result?
Forza Horizon 4 on Xbox One still has all the music in it. So it seems like maybe they are not letting you turn off the streamer mode when you are playing
I gotta fucking
Forza
take notes here
on xCloud, which is wild. But yeah, it must just be some business loophole that they forgot that they were not thinking to do back when they licensed that music. That sounds like something the music industry would do. It's like, well, wait a minute. You can listen to our music on a phone? 'Cause that's cutting into a whole different, because we sell music on phones.
Yeah. We stream. We have a license. We have somebody came in here and signed a streaming music thing a while ago.
Yeah. You got to fuck us over at least as hard as Spotify does if you want to do that, buddy.
You're not even close yet.